We live in New York City, and we love the streets overflowing with life and music and theater and a multicultural cuisine. But the daily stress, the noise that keeps you up all night, and the pollution can take its toll on you. We live in a small one-bedroom apartment and have learned to enjoy family and friends in a tight space. But in May of 2000, my wife Catherine and I took a ride out to Long Island to get away from it all. And out here we fell in love with the sea. If only we could live out here, what would our lives be like? Our first thoughts were to buy a small, affordable summer shack and fix it up. We looked through real estate books, took rides with realtors, walked through many a quaint Long Island village, but we couldn't find something that really suited us. Too old, too expensive, too big. Then 1 block from the Great South Bay, we came across a vacant lot on a lake that drew us in with its huge trees. This has been up for sale again and again for the last 40 years. Someone was going to develop this. Why not us? We started our research and came up with 7 principles for building a solar home that we would call Ahalani, a Navajo word that means house made of dawn. Our research took an interesting jump in Washington, D.C., where a solar decathlon was in full swing. 14 universities were in competition to build the best solar home, experimenting with energy efficiency, small but spacious living, affordability, creating healthy interiors with environmentally friendly products, a whole lifestyle that would be sustainable. Did I say style? Would you want to live in one of these?
Yeah, this is a lot of really good ideas.
I intend to do some things to eliminate electricity as much as possible in my home.
Seems to me eventually we're going to run out of oil.
I'm a software engineer. I'm interested in the engineering aspects.
I think we're really going to have to get our government and our people focused on paying more attention to renewable energy sources.
How can you argue with selling energy back to the utility company?
Renewable energy and energy efficient building technologies are really available today.
One of our goals was to also incorporate environmentally friendly materials throughout the house.
But there was one challenge we left out of our master plan. 2 months after we made our down payment, I returned from a bike ride on Long Island, coughing up blood. It was time for me to deal with my terminal disease, leukemia. I remember standing by the window in St. Vincent's Hospital looking out over New York City, wondering if I was going to make it, and if I did, what would I do? After 15 days, my white cells started to return, and I walked out of that hospital with a second lease on life. We spent the next year drawing up plans with solar architect Bill Chalif. The most important thing in passive solar design is to face your house south.
We're standing here on the southeast corner of a beautiful waterfront piece of property that will be the site of our solar home for Catherine and Campbell.
Frank Lloyd Wright, he did solar houses back in the 30s. Even back then when fuel was not a consideration, Uncle Frank brought us the solar hemicycle to consciously design them as solar collectors and as solar buildings. And later on in the 50s, the Keck brothers, following Frank Lloyd Wright's lead, did solar houses. So we have a long, honorable history that dates back to Frank Lloyd Wright.
No, this is higher.
Bill came up with a beautiful design. The next step was getting a general contractor on board to manage the entire construction phase. I talked to many builders, but no one wanted to take the risk. I was told I had a futuristic design with an antiquated budget. I was stuck. I had 9 months on my construction loan, 5 of them already gone. After a long talk with Catherine and my doctor, we decided I would become the general contractor. I've been scared from day one building a home. Even with a general contractor. Now it's being doubly, triply scared. I don't sleep at night. Electrical, my geothermal, my relation with LIPA, the solar shed, SIPs, the truck, photovoltaics, etc. Call us fools or call us brave, we pushed forward in spite of everything and moved into a refurbished goat shed, then purchased a truckload of tools and started clearing. By August 2nd, we had the place cleared ourselves and hired our first subcontractor. After that, it was all in the trenches of building. We put in an air-radiant floor, something none of my workers had ever built before, and it took forever. We were building a system of air ducts that would pass through a thermal mass to store heat in the winter and cold in the summer. Anything I said about doing an air floor, it's easy? This is not easy. This was an invention of Bill Chalip's. Only 100 of these existed, all of them on Long Island. Finally, the SIPs arrived. The bones of Ahalani.